Guess what I've got today, Average Joe's? Books! Oh, stupid. Alright, now after that's cleaned up, got my first ever book haul. So, if you don't know, I live overseas. My wife is Navy, so we live overseas. We don't have any local bookstores to go to. And I'm back in the California, back in the U.S. doing my own military stuff. But I decided, since I had time, there was an awesome looking bookstore, local bookstore here. I decided to go, and I kind of got carried away. I bought 23 books, and I did not intend to, and mistakes were made, but here we are. And so I don't do many hauls because typically when I buy books, it'll be random one or two here or there, buying used online through Amazon or digital purchases. Mostly I buy digital, and so that's why I haven't done a haul. I don't actually go to bookstores and buy a bunch, but here we are. So now I got a big book haul, and the bookstore that I went to was super cool. You go in, I mean, it's a classic used bookstore. They have, wall to wall, small shop, and you walk in the entrance, and part of the entrance is like a giant page cut out of Harry Potter. So that was really cool. They have books hanging from the ceiling of, kind of like they're floating. There were these very plush Victorian chairs, like back in corners. There's some chandeliers. They did really cool with the space, and the people were super nice. So I just felt like I had to go in and show some support, and I got carried away. I kept on running back to the front with my stacks. So we're gonna get into it. First one is pretty cool. At least I think. I have no idea how rare this might be, but it is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And every time I've seen, I don't have this yet. I haven't read it yet, but I've wanted to read it. And every time I've seen this, the book, it's usually like a one binding, I guess, omnibus type edition. But this one has all five of these, and I can't zoom in because you're too far away. But it has spells out atoms. They're each very different covers. So we have that spaghetti. So I'm sure there's references on these covers that I just don't understand because I haven't read it yet. But I thought it was really cool. This seems like a really old classic kind of special edition. Feel like I just had to get it box set, even though it's taped. That's used for you. But the books are in great condition. So I've already wanted to read this, and now that I have a in this kind of binding, I can just do one at a time. Versus if I had the big one that's all bound together, I think I feel obligated to read it all at once because I just hate stopping in the middle of a book and like putting my bookmark in it and then putting it back on my shelf. I just feel like it's incomplete. But now I can just do one off, so that's really cool. Uh, cool find, at least to me. Next, what do I want to do next? Okay, Stephen King. I only got one Stephen King. There were a couple. There were some decent ones in there. I don't have a whole lot of Stephen King, and I don't want to read all of Stephen King's works. I don't think, at least not yet. I'm mostly working on his multiverse stuff, and I haven't read any of his short stories. I really don't read horror at all. There's only a couple of the horror that I might be interested in. So the Stephen King selection was okay, and the Dark Tower ones that they did have, I've already read or I have. So, but I got Hearts in Atlantis. I've heard good things about this. It sounds really cool. It sounds like it's up my alley. I almost bought it a long time ago when I went to a half price book site. They had like a bigger hardcover edition, but that's fine. So I got this one, and I'm pretty happy with it. I don't mind, and I think most of the King I have is paperback anyway. Mass market. Okay, next we're going to go to this one. I'm going to bring up because Madison mentioned it because when she saw my the photo that I posted on Mike's Book Reviews channel, and that is Laurie R. King. These are Sherlock books. So in the Sherlock universe, uh, it's a like 17 or 18 book series. And the thing about these is there's so many different Sherlock series, like spin-offs and stuff like that. This one, it's kind of interesting. Apparently, I don't know if it's true, but like the author was sent a whole bunch of old missing stories or something. Anyway, the perspective that this is from, so Sherlock is in his 60s, I believe. The perspective that you're reading it from is from his wife Mary, which I don't think he was actually married to someone named Mary. But that's the perspective. So they get married. She's super a whole lot younger than he is, but she is super smart and doing studies and all these things. And they have their own mysteries. So some of them are kind of slow burn. I had the first three. I've read two or three of them, but they're actually pretty good. They're actually really good. It's Sherlock, but not from Sherlock's perspective. So I think that's interesting as well. Some of these newer covers are pretty cool. I kind of like. There's an aesthetic that goes, but these are the older traditional ones. So I was like, well, why not? And I can never find these online cheap or used. They're always over $10, which means I'm probably not buying them because I buy used and cheap. There's those. All right, let's do the big stack. Let's do the big one. So my big stack, and basically the reason why I went there because I knew I wanted to get some of these. Michael Crichton. I have been wanting to read more Michael Crichton, and I only own two of his books. Oh no, I own a couple more, but they're not at our house. I only own two. I've read The Great Train Robbery, and I own Jurassic Park, but I'm kind of waiting to read Jurassic Park for. I think there's a read along happening at some point. I don't know. And I know I want to get more Michael Crichton because they all sound really awesome, but I don't want to buy them used online from Amazon because I don't think the prices were okay. But I also know that no matter what used bookstore you go into, you're going to find a ton of Crichton. And this is an example. And there were still like five other books of his in the store that I just didn't get. Like Micro and Lost World were both big hardbacks, but I don't want to get big hardbacks because I'm going to have to mail these home. So I got Rising Sun. This one, please tell me if you know this, if you read it, but just reading the description, this sounds like Die Hard. Die Hard's like one of my all-time favorite movies ever. It is also one of my favorite Christmas movies, and if you don't think it's a Christmas movie, then just turn off this video right now because I don't care. So yeah, this sounds like basically the first sentence, the first paragraph on this synopsis basically sounds like Die Hard. So this might move up my list just because of that. If you've read Rising Sun, let me know if that's the case. Then you have Terminal Man, classic. I think this is his first one. Five Patients, never heard of it, but when I read the synopsis, it sounds like something I would absolutely love. We like to watch certain hospital medical dramas because since neither of us are in the medical profession, they're pretty ignorant and oblivious to how unrealistic they are, and we don't care. Kind of like we can't watch military ones because we know they're all BS and completely wrong. Just so, Five Patients sounds really cool, and it's short. Andromeda Strain, another classic of his. Eaters of the Dead. This one sounds really, really interesting, especially after hearing Mike talk about it. Congo, big time interesting. My brother-in-law just read it and he said he really, really liked it. And Mike actually, ironically, just came out with his talk and review on Congo. Sounds fantastic. I know I've only seen the movie, which apparently is just absolutely terrible, but that's all I know. Airframe, don't know much about that one. And Pirate's Latitude. I'm always looking for some reason I get in the mood for pirate books. I don't know why, but Pirate's Latitude, yeah. So I might read a pirate book. I don't know how they are. So that's my Michael Crichton haul. This it's going to hold me over for a while. These are going to be great for palate cleansers, standalones, whatever you want to call them. But my classic collection. All right. Next, I was surprised. I was went over to the classic section. Just didn't think I would find anything there because it's classic. I don't typically only read them, but I did. And this has been on my list for a while, and that's Slaughterhouse Five, Kurt Vonnegut. And then I just Googled the rest of his books, and I got the next two, I guess, in reading order: Cat's Cradle and Breakfast of Champions. I didn't realize how old these books are, and I don't even really know what they are about. I just know I've heard Slaughterhouse Five talked about a ton, and it's been on my wish list for a long time. So I figured, why not get it since I'm there? And these are kind of at least for this one, is the same aesthetic. Not that I really care that much, obviously. So I'm gonna read these eventually. I know there's been some mixed things just this year. I've seen several people read Slaughterhouse Five, and some people love it, some people just not for them. So it might be very divisive in that standpoint. Who knows how I'm going to feel about it? I honestly don't know. My tastes sometimes they surprise me. This looks like a fast read. The font is huge. So Kurt Vonnegut, going to get my first dose of his and whatever the heck this is about. And the last two. Main reason why I got these, so I did say that I'm trying to get into more classics. I really want to give classics a fair shot. And the classics that I do own, I only own two. They are the Penguin classics. So I figured, well, if I'm going to get classics, I need to keep with the Penguin ones. And I know Frankenstein is on my list big time. So that I went over there just to find Frankenstein, and they had it. So really happy about that. I know a lot of people like Frankenstein. Looks like some people actually wrote in the margins and depressing, unhappy, magician, physical science. Oh my goodness, these are going to be fun in general. I just want to see what their footnotes are. I don't even care that they're marked up. Risked her own life for Elizabeth. I probably shouldn't do this because there's probably spoilers, even though it's Frankenstein. But yeah, cheat sheet or something. What the hell's going on? All right, so Frankenstein. I'll finally be able to read that. This might be a October read. I think I'm going to have some. I don't think this is considered horror, but I want to read some horror in October. But Frankenstein just feels like a good Halloween type book read. And then I picked up Cannery Row. Never heard of this one before. I don't know if. Let me know if you've ever heard of this, read this, know much about it. But I was going through all of the Penguin Classic ones. I would just take them out, and if I hadn't heard of them, I would look them up and see the synopsis. And most of them don't sound very interesting. I kind of figured I would not like them because they're like Victorian era, and I just know that writing style isn't for me. But this one, the synopsis sounded pretty decent enough. Takes place in 1945. But the main reason why I got it, even though the synopsis sounds decent enough that I might like it, takes place in Monterey, California. And next year, actually within like 10, 9 or 10 months, we are going to be moving to Monterey. So since we're going to be living there, never been there, figured why not kill two birds with one stone, read a classic, see what the story's about, and then I might learn some stuff about Monterey because we're going to live there anyway. So thought that was kind of cool and interesting. There was some more that I almost got. There was the main one that I'm thinking of now that I almost got was there's a 5 book binding, the first 5 books of kind of the classic type printing of a floppy paperbacks, big ones of Shadow of the Apt. And if you watch my recent video, that I'm doing a read along with for Shadow of the Apt, the first 4 books on Library of Alexandria's channel, and I almost got it. There was the first 5 books for 35 bucks, brand new, awesome condition. I was really, really tempted, but I think I'm gonna read those on Kindle. We'll see. Honestly, I still have another 2 weeks here, so I might change my mind and actually go get them. Or if you want them, let me know. But that's the main one that I was kind of debating on. There wasn't a whole lot of to pick from fantasy. I was pretty surprised at when you go into the classic section. I was expecting all the regular classics because like Grapes of Wrath and that stuff. But it also in the classic section was Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia and Kurt Vonnegut and stuff like that. So I was pretty. I guess those can be considered classics now. So yeah, the bookstore didn't have a whole lot in fantasy or sci-fi. There was a shit ton of Star Wars, but I think I'm gonna keep with Kindle for Star Wars, or until maybe I'll do mass market paperbacks for the Jedi Order. But that's farther down the road for my read through. So that's my haul. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you think about some of them, which ones I should read first. All that jazz, because most of these are pretty much just throw in standalones, mood reading, not really series, except hitchhikers. So let me know what you think, and let's chat about more in the comments.